Interesting that he doesn't go b5 here. I think he played b5 previously, and
A bunch of times, if I
Mhm.
remember. And then there's some knight a3 lines, which get a bit
Yeah,
weird.
yeah. So b6, bishop g2, bishop b7, and then fianchettoing the other one as well. And Arjun replies very, very directly by occupying the center with everything he can. And Magnus doesn't really challenge it yet because knight c3 supports the pawn on d5 very well against both e6 and c6, and goes knight a6 for the time being.
Yeah.
I assume you want knight c5, maybe you want knight fe4, then maybe you want to even support it with f7, f5 if that happens. A5 is useful with the knight on c5 just to support it against the uh, move b4.
Knight d4, I remember being one of the most testing lines.
Yeah,
And
that looks very logical.
yeah, black really has
Preparing
to play
e4.
black has to play e5 pretty much before you get cramped, and we get some weird King's Indian where black has a bishop on b7. Yeah, knight c2 or knight b3, something
Yeah,
like this. And
somewhere. And yeah, the choice here has to be between knight b3 and knight c2.
yeah,
I don't think we very much want to play this. I think this gives black,
yeah,
like black just breathes a very heavy sigh of relief if this happens.
nice fluid pawn
Absolutely
structure.
no point for white to give up a very nice space grabbing pawn on d5. Yeah,
What do we think of this King's Indian?
seems very playable for black. I'm not
Um,
a huge specialist in these types of structures, but it feels like, in particular with bishop on c1 and not f2, you can definitely play a3 and before you probably should be doing it right this moment.
yeah,
But let's say, I don't know, a3 h5 before, which is go knight b7. I think we don't even take on before
hmm
for now
yeah.
because we don't want to open the a file for white to try and exploit. How are we going to land c4 c5?
Feels like a distant dream at this moment.
Mm.
Maybe
And
like
black
this.
has very understandable play, right?
Yeah,
G5, G4, maybe even FGH, GH4 in some positions.
hmm
Very worried about this, to be honest. I don't think this is such a big problem. But yeah, a3 played, so now we will I think see very clearly what Magnus feels about a3, a4. Because if you want to do it, you probably do it right this moment. Absolutely ignores the idea of b3 before.
yeah.
Says, "Be my guest." I'm a bit surprised he's done it this way though, because
It allows
now,
g4.
yeah, he's allowed this. This honestly feels wrong to me.
Hmm
I will, yeah, I mean, it's a kind of a strong statement, but it really does feel very wrong to me because I will play g4, I will play h3, let's say h5, h3. And I think we might even have time enough in these positions in general to just like get it over to c2, like just straight away. I
Yeah,
don't know, knight f6, we go king f2, we go rook h1, and we just park it on c2 eventually. I don't think black will be able to open very much anywhere. Honestly, a bit of a mystery to me why we're starting with this and not this. Chicken here and go g4. You can, for now at least, you can definitely continue ignoring it, but it also feels quite logical from his viewpoint, I think, because h5 g4 is happening quite quickly. Like if you make a move here, whichever move you want to. So I think he goes knight b7 without the trade. The trade is never running away. White, this is not a bayonet. Yeah, knight b7 already played. ba5 is never a good idea here compared to some of the bayonet positions.
g4 played and the king
Mm-hmm.
march.
Yeah, and there is some people in chat who are very adamant that this is now much better for white. Uh, I don't know if I necessarily agree, but I do feel it's a massive improvement compared to what we could have had if Magnus didn't allow the king side to be closed. I really am mystified by the choice of g5 over h5 here.
Also a
After a3,
conversion
it
rather
really
than
liked
advantage.
a4,
Hmm
but it also sort of liked h5. It just didn't like g5 very much, making some strong positional moves such as bishop h6 and claiming that this is going to be annoying. Um, yeah. Also, not very obvious to me because like bishop g2 followed by a5 will happen very quickly, as we know from. But it's all in the past, and
Yeah.
yeah, you do have to wonder. G5 was played very very quickly by Magnus, which felt like he didn't really want to consider any other options.
hmm Neither side really wants to touch the king side too much. That can build up there somehow. But
Yeah, rook h7 played, and now looks like it's just going to be very very difficult to shift.
looks like a textbook position of
Mm-hmm.
King's Indian. yeah, plans. What does either side do? But here it feels like not too much.
Take a look at what's happening in the challengers. As we've mentioned just a moment ago in Magnus's game, somewhere here, rook g1, rook h7, bishop f1, knight f6, king e1, rook b2, queen d3. Apparently, a takes b4 was massively strong here, and he kind of missed the opportunity. I'm guessing with the intention of playing rook a1, and then if king d1, is it that we just go in, or
if it's something strong, it must be connected to giving up material and going in.
Yeah, actually, it doesn't even go rook a1 and goes hg, hg, c6.
C6. So a connection of all the plans, all the openings. The black rooks are on nice files. And if I don't really want to suggest taking on d6, but just to show, that takes d6.
Queen b8 maybe. Or queen c7, b8, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess white's just stuck. Loads of pieces on the back rank. Weakness on b4.
Yeah, I think he wants to take on g4 because I think white my initial reaction was we just go rook g2 and then both pairs come off, but maybe we take on b1.
I can take on h2 then. Maybe.
Yeah, well, I can take on h2, and yeah, you're definitely not doing this, right?
I don't think so.
Unless you want to go complete goblin mode and do this, but that never works.
3-8 can't work.
That is not a
Too
thing.
many pieces disappear.
Yeah, so after rook g2, I guess his plan is then maybe go for this, right?
And then
now we do come in.
You could see this going very wrong for white if you allow the bishop to move in g4. But 2 tempi. How did that bishop get to f1?
Bishop f3, bishop h3, bishop h5. Kind of locking your own bishop behind the chain, which is unusual, and knight e2 here. Of course, white would very, very happily snap on g3 in all of these positions. Yeah, just freeing everything up.
Even
bishop f1.
Even snapping on f4 might have been a semi-threat.
Yeah, bishop f1. So what do we do? Fantastic looking position. Move 40 for Magnus, 27 minutes. Yeah. He did all he could to force Arjun to play under some time pressure, but Arjun got to move 40 in 5 minutes, reasonably calm. We obviously have to stop bishop f5. The question is there anything smarter than knight h6? I mean, you can allow it. You can play something like g3 here, but that allows queen g1 or f3. f3? I don't like it.
f3 now, or?
Yeah, I don't like it. I think that introduces all kinds of ideas to white that you don't want to introduce. 5 instead of knight h6 after a reasonably prolonged thought.
That's clever.
Actually, no, he played it fast, yeah. e4 is hanging. So my default reaction here is knight bc3. Nice, and now bishop f5 is back to being a threat, I assume.
Maybe. Bishop takes e4 sometimes is the answer there. Yeah, one of the knights has to land on c3. For Arjun, you feel like this one is still kind of a guessing game. It's
yeah, very much is. Yeah.
Who's better and why? Maybe queen c2 is an idea as well as knight c3. I was just trying to look for options just to threaten knight takes f4 as well as bishop f5.
That sounds like
and now black
a pretty solid second option. A very unusual position in the game between Arjun and Magnus, where Arjun took a while here to make a decision, almost half an hour, 20-ish minutes were spent on knight c3. Magnus very quickly played bishop f3, further supporting the setup on the king side. I don't know how to evaluate any of this.
Me neither. If this were a game, I would just kind of forget trying to think who's better, who's worse. It's just pure calculation. And
yeah, really does feel like you're, I think, severely incentivized not to even try to understand what's happening. Press the clock, wait for our opponent to decide on something.
He's just played queen f1. In terms of ease of play, who would you favor? I think I would take the pawns just because it's at least clear what you're doing as black. Must be the plan, but yeah, the engine was sort of in severe disagreement with this. For some reason, specifically because of queen h4. Okay. Which I don't think is very obvious. What's the idea? G5, G2, G3, G2 simply.
I don't know. Maybe it improves bishop f6 or something. Yeah, bishop f6 and queen c1 already played by the players in Magnus's game. I mean, aesthetically, you just want to play knight f7, right? You just want to reestablish full control over the e5 pawn square and then just start pushing. There might be something faster, but
knowing that the computer wanted to play Queen H4 last move, maybe again Queen H4. But yeah, Knight F7 looks so human. And
Knight
so
F7 looks very, very nice. And we're allowing C5, but C5 really feels like it might just be opening, files for the Black Queen, to start attacking the king.
I'm really attracted to Queen A8, even though it doesn't really guarantee any checkmates.
So am I, yeah.
Don't know what else Black could try here.
You can go in via this
angle
direction, because I think Knight C7 is. Oh, hang on, this is kind of problematic.
Boom. Yeah.
I didn't spot it immediately, but it is a bit problematic.
Yeah. I was wondering where you're going on the second rank. I was like, there's no entry points, but this is a nice way.
Yeah, because I thought I was actually originally planning Queen G2, but then 98 check is a bit of an issue. Yeah, I mean it's still good, but can we play E5?
E5
and then Knight C7. But as I now realize, this is what he does. I think this is very important, right?
Yeah,
that we're controlling E8
and threatening mate in a couple of moves.
Or
in a few moves if White reacts.
Apparently, bishop takes and D is even stronger.
Bishop takes E5 here.
Yeah,
that's
going here, easy, and after Knight C7, I suppose what Sese is arguing for here is that F6 is just a very, very safe square. Like I can play Queen A4 here, and this is just one check because Knight on F7 covers absolutely everything.
Or the borderline.
Plus, I mean, you have Bishop C3, but then you will just lose those endgames like Queen B3, Bishop B2, and I can go G3 for now, and just continue queening my stuff on the king side.
98.
98 now exists. Yeah, so we maybe take everything off the board first and then go G3, right?
Yeah, looks clean. Very fast pawns. The move we said might be difficult, just visually, but very strong.
Yeah, I think once again you just need to fight past the fear of allowing a lot of counterplay, because generally in these King's Indians, allowing the knight to land on E6 is something that you are very apprehensive about, but here it just does not generate enough play at all. F5 is hanging, it doesn't really have good squares. Bishop D3, E4 continues becoming more and more of a problem, and if you go back to C2, I assume even knight takes E4 is very, very strong. Arjun goes bishop H6 check. Now King F7 is actually the only move winning, but it is, I think, very findable. You don't want to go.
Bunch of wins, yeah.
Yeah, King F7 played, yeah. Was really not expecting him to miss that.
Yeah. So bishop E6, does it matter where we get? Okay, actually irrelevant now. Knight takes D6 on the board.
Yeah.
Bishop E6 check. Are we going to G6?
Yeah, I think we're always going to G6. It's just a very, very safe square. There's nothing to even try.
Mm-hmm. I'm really surprised that Arjun's actually taken the knights off the board, because now it does feel like it's very one-sided. Bishop G5, he's playing for a perpetual, but does it exist? And Black tries something similar.
Yeah.
What are the odds of Magnus finding Queen H8 here? I think they're pretty high at this point.
Very high.
Yeah. I think I would struggle with my full board awareness to kind of look back in that direction for a while. But if you see that nothing else works, then maybe. And okay, Levon has resigned. That's confirmed now. So Parham takes the win. And Magnus plays Queen H8.
Yep.
Great move. And I have a feeling this is easy to miss as well. Like if you're forced to find it as black, you'll find it. But for Arjun, it might come as a bit of a cold shower. Nope, he immediately replies, I was wrong. Should be 3.
Yeah.
And now which long queen move? Is it Queen H1? Yeah, I'm wondering what the cleanest way is to win. Do we just push pawns and hope for the best?
E4 bishop takes B6 on the board in the meantime. And for some reason, the easiest victory here is the move Queen H2. But G3 is also winning.
That is a very nice, brutal move.
Yeah.
Wow. And meanwhile, back to the game, Peter. It looks like
Bishop G1. Yeah.
Bishop G1.
I guess the intention is Queen E5. We give a check, and then we go King A2, and we claim this isn't mate. Which maybe it isn't.
But it feels like it should be. Bishop. I want to play a bishop move here. Bishop D1 or bishop. I'm not sure exactly what it does.
Bishop D1. But you can also just go Queen E2 and continue improving while not really allowing any counterplay.
Oh, that looks... Yeah, that looks like.
And then maybe queen d3,
very
bishop
straightforward.
d1 actually will give mate.
Yeah. White is totally zugzwanged here, totally stalemated, pretty much.
Yeah, you can't really move any of your pieces. And like, you play b5 because what else do you play? And then this comes in and you realize you cannot actually stop queen b3 mate in any way that makes any sense. Yeah, and to continue covering the final standings, Lev and Richard are on 50%. Lev losing, yeah, both of them actually losing in the last round to go below the plus score. Looked like a very, very promising start. That game with Black against Gukesh looked fabulous. Really did look very, very good.
More important for Ding to get some games under his belt.
Yeah. Obviously not the kind of training he would have liked. He would have very much enjoyed, I think, doing well, and the additional confidence before a World Championship match is never going to go amiss. 11th fell with Gukesh, who was on -4 after, I think, 7 rounds and recovered quite well. And there we have the handshake after queen d3. I guess the point being, if you play queen c2 here, queen a3, queen a2, queen b4 check, and then eventually give a check from d1, the eventual outcome. So yeah, a nice final victory with Black for Magnus.